Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the very first episode of On the Air with OMJ.
AIR stands for Asylum Seekers, Immigrants, and Refugees.
And OMJ is my good friend Omar Mohammed and me, Matt Johnson. So OMJ, and we're here to tell you about what our show is all about and why you should give us 5 minutes of your time.
As you can see, I am black, and
I don't know if you noticed, but I am white.
as you can notice from my accent, I'm from not the US. I'm from another country.
I have lived my entire life in Lancaster County.
As you can tell, I don't know, I'm a Muslim.
And I'm still trying to figure out where I stand on all the issues of spirituality. Anything else that's different about us, Omar?
There's many other you have. I don't.
So there's yes, it's true. Actually, together we complete each other's facial hair, right? So I have the mustache.
Wonderful,
and
wonderful. And the main reason we want to do this YouTube channel is to educate people about all what matters is we are, at the end, we are a human being.
Sure. And even though go ahead.
Regardless of your religion, regardless of the language you speak, regardless of your race, we are all human beings.
And so much is made now of our differences and the ways that we are profoundly different, even as individual Americans, that it was just so important for us to say to each other, we see eye to eye on so much and came from such different backgrounds that there must be this kind of agreement to be found among all of the people that we know and that we work with. So I'm going to send, go ahead, Omar.
And in our channel, we are going to educate you, the viewers, and ourselves, the basics and the complexity of immigration policies and issues that affect immigrants and refugees.
And we're also going to make sure to allow immigrants and refugees to tell their stories and their experiences and their needs in their own words and tell us what's going on in their communities.
And we are also going to create a space for respectful debate for those who disagree with refugees coming to this country and the refugees themselves. Let the real people talk.
Yeah, we believe that not enough real conversations are going on, and we want people to be able to say exactly how they feel. And finally, we were going to talk to local elected leaders, business leaders, nonprofit leaders, and talk to them about how our area's historic welcome has changed the landscape of the work that they do. So we want to really give you a full-scale view of all that's going on in the world of asylum seekers, immigrants, and refugees, and that's what we're going to do. We don't know how often we're going to do it, but we're going to try to give you content all of the time because we could talk. I know, Omar, you would agree, but you and I could talk about this stuff for days and days upon end, so I don't think we're ever going to worry about not having enough to talk about.
And finally, we always hear about refugees. We always hear about immigrants. There are some people who may charge without even knowing who these people are. And as a former refugee myself, I hear about American politics, American policies. So I want to also educate myself by speaking with other people.
Yeah, Omar, could you give people an idea of your role in your own community and what role you've played to try to give refugees that voice?
I came to this country about 11 years ago. Since I came to America, I have been working for the last 11 years. Most of the time I work 2 jobs or 1 full-time, 1 part-time job. So, and I've been a taxpayer like any other American. And one thing that you always hear about refugees are they depend on this, they depend on that. No. And also one thing about refugees, those are human beings. And you can be a refugee tomorrow. And I will conclude this. No human being or no person wants to be a refugee. And that is the last thing I ever wanted was to be a refugee. I don't know if I talked about what you wanted me to talk about.
No, that's perfect. That's perfect. And I think that it's even more important to hear this now when we are filming this episode. We're all currently as part of a shelter-in-place order, and we see how very little Americans like to be told where they can go and where they can't go. And I'm
Mhm.
hoping that potentially people will think about that when they think about the refugee crises in the world, that, you know, people have no choice. They don't have a nice home where they can watch Netflix and hang out with their family necessarily. And
Mhm.
hopefully this will remind people that there are people suffering far worse than we have here.
So for our viewers, please subscribe.
Hmm.
They always said subscribe. I always see YouTube people say subscribe.
Ding.
Please, yeah, subscribe to our channel. And also, if you have any question or if you like to participate at any level, let us know. We are just here for you. And this is more about educational and this is more about interconversational. We want people to talk. I always watch the news and I see people so-called experts talking about issues or affairs that they have no clue. Someone visits a refugee camp for one day, he says expert. So we want to talk about the real refugees who live the refugee camps, who also did the resettlement process. There's a lot to discuss, and this YouTube is not only for immigrants, it's not only for refugees, it's for all human beings of different backgrounds. Please subscribe and let us know what you think.
Absolutely. We want to tell stories that are interesting to everybody, whether you are just entering the world of immigration or whether this is your lifetime pursuit. We feel like we're going to be able to give you something new that you haven't seen, and get to hear voices that you haven't heard from. And one of those voices, as we conclude this first episode, is going to be from a local Bhutanese Nepali former refugee who's been here for about 10 years, who has basically led the effort in his community to fight back against COVID misinformation, and put it on a nightly talk show to answer questions about the disease. And so this is an interview I conducted with him last week. So we'll leave you with a heartfelt thanks. Subscribe, 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 and tell your friends and get in contact with us. I'm Matt Johnson.
And I'm Omar Muhammad. Please also share with others.
We will see you next time on the Air with OMJ. I'm here with Beam, who runs Focus Talk, the COVID-19 information campaign for Bhutanese Nepali residents of Lancaster and the region. Hi, Beam. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm
Thank
doing
you
just
for
fine, thank you. Yeah. So how did Focus Talk get started?
So after the COVID-19 started, community started scattering information from all over different media, like social media, like Facebook, YouTube, and things like that. So some of my friends who knew me were really concerned that, we wanted to do something. So they asked me what I can do for the community. So I started thinking and brainstorming maybe there would be a better way to connect everyone in our Nepali community. So thought of doing some kind of video, and I put together a team and figured out Focus Talk would be the talk show where we can focus on COVID-19 and give them more accurate and updated information through locally, like Pennsylvania Health Department or Lancaster City government information, rather than trying to figure out like what WHO has to tell or things like that, because people will be more concerned or confused. At the same time, coming a little bit of different orders from the government, like governor orders and things like that. So that's how it started.
Great. And what has the response been in the community to your nightly casts?
It has been amazing because I think the first few weeks we actually reached about 3,000 to 2,000 people viewing our
Wow.
so like talk, but eventually it diminished to, because the contents are very like repetitive
Mm-hmm.
after 4 or 5 weeks. But what has been happening is, because if we don't do the video for in the weekend or things like that, people will send me message or call me. It's like, hey, do you guys forgot or doing the video today, or you have more updates coming or things like that. So we see how people are reaching and asking questions, and some of the questioning and answering was also about stimulus fund video that we put it together to people if they are getting SSI and things like that, or census video we did, and also like more importantly, like giving them what's going on in the area, because most of our family generation, older elderly people don't watch TV. and they don't understand English, or they don't have access to, the way to get like cable network and things like that. So they rely mostly on Nepali speakers, and we became one of their resource for among any other different resources.
That's great, and I've noticed that there's a high emphasis on production values. Do you think that that has led more people to take seriously the information you have? I noticed the edits are very good, the graphics are very good. Was that a conscious choice on your part to make sure that it looked like newsworthy sources, and to make sure that people knew that it was coming from a good place?
Yeah, I think I'm not fully sure, but what we feel like, we want to give them the best, information, but at the same time, we are also new to the technology, so we use our best resources we have. So it's definitely, having a good video quality, good editing, and having the video resources will really impact people's perception and viewing what they're seeing. So definitely, it might play one of the factors to help out to reach out more people, because they want to watch something good quality these days.
And did you? I've heard it from a lot of different refugee communities that COVID is difficult because of the social distancing. There's a lot of family time and togetherness time, and random drop-ins and so forth. And have you found that that's been difficult in the Bhutanese Nepali community? That getting over that initial feeling like, well, we all get together and have a meal. Has that been a difficulty?
Yeah, I think one of the major thing here is like, in basically Nepali communities are very communal. They love to have a family, friends together, and because some people are not educated or not getting the right information, could lead like, visiting. Oh, is this a lockdown for other people's not coming? Maybe we can visit a family, friends. That
Mm-hmm.
could happen, but because when they start hearing more deaths, that scared them also, and it has continually minimized the visiting. But in beginning, social distancing was not, what it was impacted.
Yeah. Did you, two more questions and I'll let you go. The one is, were you hearing a lot of misinformation in the community, and what were you hearing if you did get any misinformation about COVID?
Yeah, because it's my own experience. My parents, they don't speak English, and they were relying on YouTube. So now they watch their son talking about these different
Oh.
issues, and they don't live in Lancaster. They are in Ohio. So
Mhm.
also there are a lot of other family relatives. They're talking about, initially it was like, the hot weather, hot water, like different like resources, like having spices, or like, like sour things, or doing gargling, or having the turmeric, or things like that. These are more like believed to be a traditional values when you are just like have a cold or something,
Mhm.
and having this dangerous virus. So also some people would be more interested in like getting different products, because there are a lot of YouTubers and things like that. They were advocating different things at the same time, or even like supplies, like the best mask, or these things like which are not proven. Yeah, that
Right.
was circulated in the community.
Yeah. And how has the community been holding up in your opinion? Have people been maintaining social distancing? Have there been many cases that you know of, or have things been pretty good in Lancaster?
Yeah, I think for God's sake, we haven't heard a lot of people or any people infected so far with the virus. But I think things are getting more like based on the information and also educating youths, and people are getting more serious because of after having a lot of stay-home orders and things like that. I think things has been really difficult for parents and elderly, because having all the kids at home, not able to go to job and things like that, which creates a lot of pressure, and having financial problem and stress might create a lot of chaos in the families like that,
Yeah.
rather than having social distancing and things like that. So yeah, there's a one or another factors that is creating chaos in families.
All right. Well, hey, thank you so much, Beam, for taking time to talk, and wish you well. And I'll make sure that we post a link to Focus Talk in case people want to see what it's all about, and also post the LNP article that they did about your labor. So thank you very much.